Why, hello there YouTube and welcome to my top 5 best and worst movies of the 2022 so far. So it's July now, we're halfway into the year, so here are my top 5 best and worst movies of this year so far. It's on my personal opinion, so you don't have to agree with it. What are your top 5 best and worst of this year so far? So this will be from like January 1st to June 30th. So let's go with the worst, my top 5 worst movies so far. So coming in at number 5 is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This dropped on Netflix. That just shows how little hope they had for this movie. It was meant to be a direct sequel to the 1974 film, retconning all the sequels again. Basically, I think the writers just looked at the writers of Halloween and thought, can we copy your homework? I mean, I don't think they would have got Marilyn Burns or Gunnar Henson to reprise their roles if they were still alive. I didn't like this one. Number 4 is Morbius. Now, I had high hopes for this one, but then I also thought, oh, this movie's been delayed countless times. You can tell it's not going to be good if it's been delayed that many times. First time it was delayed is understandable, but yeah, I gotta admit, this was a snooze fest for me. I mean, I think one of my favourite parts of the movie was the end credit scenes with Vulture appearing, but yeah, just not the best one from Sony's Marvel Universe. They start off good with Venom. I hope that they can try and do better, Anyway, number 3, it is The Northman. Now, I, again, had high expectations for this one. I thought it's Robert Eggers, good cast. But I just found this film boring, I mean, they could have probably cut an hour out of this film. That's another thing. It went on a lot longer than it needed to. I just didn't enjoy this one. I mean, I couldn't even sit through the whole film, the first time round. It just weren't for me. I mean, there's probably a lot of people. I think that there's been some good reviews for it, but in my personal opinion, I just didn't enjoy it as much as I was hoping to. Number 2 is Firestarter. Yeah, the remake of the 1984 film. It was a darker take. It was from Blumhouse, but I like that it wasn't full shot for shot and the ending was different, but yeah, I just thought not a necessary one. Yeah. And my number 1 worst film of the year so far is Moonfall. Sci-fi disaster movie where the moon is basically coming out of orbit and Earth is falling into a disaster of chaos, and it just did not get that better for me. It started off like okay, but yeah, it just got worse. I mean, Halle Berry, Patrick Wilson, that guy out of Game of Thrones, the whole moon turning out to be a supercomputer, it just got too daft for me, that final act of the film. So yeah, Moonfall is my worst one. Now, let's get to the top 5 best movies of this year so far. So coming in at number 5, it is Scream. Yes, the 5th installment in the Scream franchise, and it won me over. I thought this series couldn't work without Craven's touch, but it was, it was for him. It was, it was just, they did the whole, they acknowledged that it was a requel, and they were acknowledging the whole requel thing. All the other sequels and that, the past installments are still canon. And I enjoyed it. I like that we got the original the original three back, that being Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox and David Arquette. Some shockers in there. And just a great, it was just a great one. And I very much enjoyed it. So it's definitely up there as my best, as my top 5. Coming in at number 4 is Jurassic World Dominion. Now, I thought this wasn't as good as Jurassic World, but it was better than Fallen Kingdom. It is the conclusion to the Jurassic World trilogy and the sixth installment in the Jurassic franchise. But I did like this one. I like that we got our old cast back, you know, Sam Neill, Laura Dern and Jeff Goldblum, mixing with the new cast, you know, Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. I like that, you know, this was just... I just like that we got this movie. It's been my favourite Jurassic movie since probably the second one, sequel-wise. But yeah, I love this one, Jurassic World Dominion. Coming in at number 3 is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. First time in a while Sam Raimi's directed a Marvel movie, and it's not Spider-Man, but Scott Derrickson apparently was meant to return as director, but for whatever reason that didn't work out. But I love that we got to see a variety of madness in there, like the film says. You know, Benedict Cumberbatch returning with Benedict Wong. We got Elizabeth Olsen in this as the Scarlet Witch. We get to see multiple universes, including a bit of fan service there. You know, if you know what I mean, with the Illuminati, even though they were no match for Wanda. And it's the first Marvel Studios film of this year. We've had some good shows as well from Disney Plus. And at number 2, it is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I actually thought this was better than the first film. It had everything that I feel the first film was missing. We got Tails, we got Knuckles back. Well, not Knuckles, we got Knuckles voiced by Idris Elba. We got Jim Carrey back as Dr. Robotnik. Even though he wasn't fat, he's had the wacky tash and the bald head. So I like that we got to see, you know, him look more accurate to the sort of original look of Robotnik. We do get an Easter egg of like what a live action Robotnik would look like if fat. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one, and like I said, it had everything I felt the first film was missing. And my number 1 pick is The Batman. Yes. The Batman, probably the best take on the Dark Knight, the Caped Crusader since... Well, it's definitely the best Batman film since The Dark Knight. And I was surprised by this. I didn't know if this were going to work or not, but it did. Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne and the Batman. I mean, it was a lot of a darker take, a more realistic take, I like to feel as well, of Batman. It was dark and gritty, and it was very emo-y in many ways, because, you know, Bruce Wayne is still young in this. It's like his second year of Batman, so I like that they skipped the whole origin thing, but it was still like his early days. I like Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. Well, he's not quite the Commissioner yet. Zoe Kravitz as Selina Kyle, great. Colin Farrell as the Penguin. I'm like, I would not even know that were him if I'd have not known that. And I know some people were surprised when the credits were thinking Colin Farrell was in that film. And yeah, he was the Penguin, and I loved the take they did on the Riddler. You know, I just want to get that mask and cosplay as him at some point, because I just love that take on the Riddler. Something that I'd not seen about him before, and Paul Dano played it brilliantly. And as far as I know, a sequel is happening, and yeah, I mean, it is 3 hours long, so it is a bit of a time commitment, but yeah, as of this year so far, it has been my favourite one. So yeah, what have been your top 5 favourite and worst movies of this year? Let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and to share with your friends. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and to hit that notification bell. And if you like horror content, I have a channel for that too, link down below. And probably I'll be doing another top 5 of those in the horror genre. Anyway, yeah, that's been it for this one. So until next time, I bid you all a goodbye, please, goodbye.